Okay. Let's go. So the last few days, yesterday in particular, we were reviewing things we learned in earlier chapters. The difference between the tzaddik and the Beinoni. But the Beinoni does achieve the level of a tzaddik, but only at specific times, like when he says Kriyishma or davens, and then it passes. The flames of love die down in the right side of the heart, and in the dim twilight on the left side of the heart, the Yetzer Hara returns. Whereas the bottom of page 201, the tzaddik, the difference between the tzaddik and the Beinoni is that the tzaddik despises and loathes anything that's not connected with Hashem. Can't bear it. V'soinoi b'tachlis, hates it with total hatred. V'sina v'hamiyus, as David HaMelech testifies, I think offhand, it's chapter 109 of Tehillim, maybe not. Maybe it's later. Maybe it's in the 29th day of Tehillim. Or Tachlis, where it says, Tachlis asina sinaisim, with a total hatred, I hated them, says David HaMelech, referring overtly to his enemies, where he considers the enemies of Torah. And we take it to mean that this is the feeling of a tzaddik towards the Yetzer Hara. With a total hatred, I hate them. I hate it. Tachlis asina, and it's something loathsome to him. And a tzaddik who's not a complete tzaddik, so it's not entirely loathsome, it says mainly loathsome, 99 and 44, 100% loathsome. It's a sinner that the tzaddik who is incomplete has for the Yetzer Hara. He has an almost complete, but not quite, hatred of anything that's opposed to the will of Hashem. The amazing thing about the Rebbe has such a hatred. Obviously, he has this hatred in him, but it expresses itself not in pushing away the left, the bad, but in drawing near the good. Because the underlying philosophy of the Rebbe and Chabad is that there's two ways of dealing with a problem. One is you treat the problem with harsh discipline, harsh medicine. The other way is to strengthen the body in general. And a sick person, strengthen the body, and the strength in the body will help to spread strength to the afflicted areas. So that a person comes to the Rebbe with problems, and instead of being shocked and pushing the person away with his left hand, he draws them near. And the Rebbe has this tremendous talent to see the potential good in every person that comes to him, and to draw on it, and to channel it, and get him working with the talents that he has. Yes, Sarah.
I guess I'm just wondering if like Ein Milvado.
What?
It's like Ein Ad Milvado. What is it? There is everything is Hashem.
Oid Milvado. There is nothing else but him.
Yeah. I don't understand if like that's how it's not like can't bear anything that's not Hashem if everything's Hashem.
Well, the Yetzer Hara is also from Hashem. There's a parable that we learned. Was it in chapter 10? The very end of the chapter. He gives the mashal of the king who comes in a woman, a very high class woman for hire, and commissions her to seduce his son, the prince. And she's shocked. I can't do that. Not, he's a prince. He deserves a princess, not someone like myself. He said, nonetheless, he says, this is what I want you to do. Because it's for his benefit. The whole point is that he shouldn't listen to you. But for him not to listen to you, it has to be an accomplishment. So therefore, you have to really try your best to ruin him. And she said, no, I can't do that. And he said, no, if you're my subject, if you care about myself, you care about the country, you care about the monarchy, this is what you have to do. So the Yetzer Hara is really an angel sent by God to make your life challenging. And the idea is that you should overcome the challenge and thereby become much greater. Kids who grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth, they don't always achieve very much because they're never challenged. And the people, the self-made people who pull themselves up by their bootstraps. My father, Oliver Shalom, used to say that on the block where he grew up, 8 boys out of 10 ended up in jail. And he and his friends made a way for themselves in life. And he said, this is characteristic of our people. That's the way it's always been. So the challenge brings out the best in a person. That's why any athletic sport that your coach is going to put you through the ropes. It's going to make it very difficult for you. I remember one time in high school, I was on a swimming team. I used to hate practice. It was so painful. He used to scream at us. Okay. I don't know if I answered your question. I think, you see, that's how the tzad, you see in the Rebbe, that's how the Rebbe looks at things. And again, I told you this already, this story. And I apologize for my stories. I told you before, I only have a certain number of them, and I milk them. I get a lot of mileage out of the little bit that I know. So Dr. Resnick, who was at one point the Rebbe's doctor, when he had a heart attack, he was a Baal Tshuva, and he was here on the spot, and he treated the Rebbe. And the Rebbe wanted great things from him. He wanted him to get a Nobel Peace Prize. And unfortunately, he got sick and passed away. So he asked the Rebbe this question: Rebbe, if the things that are most important for us to do, we can recognize them because they're very hard. Whereas the things that are not important for us to do, the Yetzer Hara lets us do them. It's easy. Does that mean I have to break myself? Whenever something is really hard, I have to break myself. What would you think? You would think, yeah. The Rebbe said, no, that's not the derech. That's not the best way to do things. The best way to do things is you don't head into a make or break confrontation. Keep on, the Rebbe said to him, keep on doing the mitzvahs that are easy for you to do, because they're mitzvahs, and every one of them is strengthening you. Like, let's say you want to run a 4-minute mile. I never ran a 4-minute mile, never came close. But let's say you want to run a 4-minute mile. What are you going to do? You're going to train by running shorter distances as well as you can. And you could manage the shorter distance. And even though you're not pushing yourself that much, but you're pushing yourself a little, and you're building up your endurance and your strength. In the meantime, you're getting stronger and stronger. And then eventually you'll be able to tackle the more challenging and more difficult things. As the Rebbe said to him, keep on doing the easy things, but know that you have a goal which is greater. And the Rebbe had this ability of looking at each person and seeing even people who were very wicked, openly wicked, transgressors, but seeing the potential that they had. And when a Rebbe looks at you, he knows who you are. He knows you've been here before. He knows what your particular mission in life is. He's going to guide you that you'll have the strength to fulfill your mission. He'll put you in a position where you'll be able to accomplish what you need to do. And he's there to help you with blessings and with advice and guidance. So he looks at the potential. The Rebbe always looks at the potential, the good that's in the person, not at the bad that's in the struggle. The bad, he'll tell you, just ignore it, Don't, people come, they lead a non-religious, non-observant life, and then they wake up and they find out about Torah and mitzvahs, and they feel terrible. They feel so guilty. And they feel they've messed up their whole life. What does the Rebbe say? Forget about it. You did tshuva, you're a different person now. You're not the same person. If you were in that position, you wouldn't do it again. So don't dwell on negative feelings. On the contrary, concentrate on the positive things that you can accomplish. And with some people, there are rare occasions which are cited in the Tanya that we're learning in the daily shir today, just yesterday. Rebbe Elazar ben Dordaya, who was the consummate sinner. He did everything, every bad thing you could imagine. And then one day snapped. And he sat down the base of Mikdash and he started to cry. And he cried and cried and cried until his soul went out. And a heavenly voice came out, or else it was Rabbi Yehuda Nossi. He said, fortunate is the person who can acquire his whole world to come at one shot. But that is not normal. However, there are other stories like that. And I would suggest that these other stories, they are reincarnations of this neshama, which comes back again and again and again. And there's a story of the Alter Rebbe that it looks like it's the last time, but I don't think it was. I think there have been more recurrences of this. There's the famous story of Avner, the high minister in Portugal, I believe, who became a big anti-Semite and persecuted the Jews. And he came to the Ramban on Yom Kippur and ordered him to come. He was a very powerful person in the government. He ordered him to come. He slaughtered a pig in front of him, cooked it and ate it on Yom Kippur. The Ramban said, why? How did you fall so low? He says, because of you. It's all because of you. He said, me? What did I do to you? He said, you were my teacher, and you told me that every name, every Jewish name is in Parshas Hazinu. My name is in Parshas Hazinu. Just like that's false, everything else you told me is false. So I left it with a bitter hatred. And he said, no, whatever I told you is true. So where is my name? He said, I don't know where your name is. I'll think. Let me think for a minute. And he davened to Hashem to reveal to him where his name might be. And he quickly reviewed in his mind the whole parsha, and the letters lit up. The third letter of every word in a pasuk spelled his name, Avner. And he was so shocked, realizing that all the terrible things he'd done were based on a mistake and a misunderstanding. He said, so what do I do? He says, fulfill your pasuk. And he went down to the docks. He says his name will disappear from the memories of mankind. And he took a boat and he rowed out to sea and he never came back. And that's the same story. He did an instantaneous tshuva, a complete, powerful tshuva, which was the opposite of all the evil that he had done. But like I said before, like the story of Elazar ben Dordaya, it was a Unusual kind of tshuva. Our tshuva has to be step by step, methodically dealing with each thing as it comes up. Again, there was another story of the Alter Rebbe of a scholarly apostate, a person who denied the Torah and God, but he was a brilliant mathematician, and he heard that the Alter Rebbe was also brilliant in mathematics. And so he brought him his thesis and showed it to him. And the Alter Rebbe looked at it, and he went like this, looked through it like that very quickly, just like that, and said, here, you made a mistake here. And there's stories about the Rebbe, he could do that too. He could like sort of look at a book and know everything was in it. And he said, here, and what about this? Made two crucial mistakes in his whole theory. And he took a second book that they gave him, he did the same thing. He went down to the base of Medrash, he left the Rebbe's room in shock. He went down, he put his head down, he started to cry, and he expired. So the brother of the Alter Rebbe said, what did you say to him? What did you say to him? What did you do to him? He died. Now the Rebbe said, he is a reincarnation of Rebbe Elazar ben Dordaya, and every time he comes back, he always has the same ending. And hopefully this is the last time. So the thing about a tzaddik on that level, on the level of the Rebbe, is that he only sees the good. Only sees the good. There was a person in the time of the Alter Rebbe, he wrote the introduction to the Tanya, saying, it's a good book, you should read it. To the very beginning, yeah, called an approbation. He gives his approval. So a chassid of the Alter Rebbe said, how do you deal with negative thoughts that keep pouring into your mind? How do you deal with them? They drive me nuts. He said, go speak to Reb Zusha. That's the guy who wrote the introduction. Came to Reb Zusha, but he lived in abject poverty. It's not even the word for it. And he came to him, and he asked him, why have you come? He said, the Alter Rebbe sent me here. The Rebbe sent me here to learn from you about how to deal with negative thoughts, as well, negative circumstances in life, what suffering. How do you deal with it? He said, why did he send you to me? I have no suffering in my life. Never saw anything bad. When a tzaddik is ingrained in your mind, that everything, and you see, this is the lower level meditation. When a person meditates like it's easy nowadays in the spring, you see the whole world is burgeoning with life. The beauty of Hashem's creation in every single detail. So it reminds you that everything is getting its life from one source, from Hashem. And if that becomes implanted so firmly in your mind, then that's all you see. Does that seem possible to you? It's very big, very high level. Because we can talk about it and understand it, but when we walk out of the classroom, we're going to forget. And then we're just going to see whatever's happening to us, whatever the stimulus is. But that's how a tzaddik deals with things. And so a person comes to him. There was a person came to the Rebbe, and he loved the Rebbe, he loved Hasidus. I told you this story. I repeat my stories. I once had a student, I started telling a story, and the student said, you already told us that, she said. She wasn't too happy about being here. She had her own issues. Anyway.
It's sort of like Torah, Rabbi, you have to learn it so many times for it to be a part of you. So if you tell your stories over and over and over, then they become a part of
They're
it.
always new. These stories they continue to inspire me. That's why I keep on telling them. So this guy came and he loved the Rebbe, and he used to drive over on Shabbos. And the Hasidim didn't understand, how can the Rebbe tolerate him when he is breaking the Shabbos every time there's a Shabbos for bringing? He would break the Shabbos to come and be here, or Yom Tov. And I said, don't worry, don't. Zog, Rabbi, what's his name? Gordon says, ZG, Zog Gurners, don't say anything. Don't say anything. One Shabbos, he comes over to the Rebbe to say L'chaim. The Rebbe come over. I want to give you a l'chaim. He gives him a l'chaim and gives him a bracha. And he said, I want your keys, the keys to your car. Give me the keys to your car. Reaches in her pocket and gives Rabbi his keys. Says, go, you'll stay here for Shabbos. Today you're going to stay here. You're not going to drive home. I said, okay. That week he had a heart attack and died. But he died as a Shomer Shabbos Jew, a Jew who keeps Shabbos. With Mr. Nefesh for him to give up his car. He gave up his whole attitude about religion and life in order to serve us. See, that a Rebbe can do that. Rebbe only saw the whole time that he has the potential to have Mr. Nefesh, and he waited for the moment when he would do it. And then he gave him that merit. And he was mezaka him. Okay, let's continue. The Beinoni, however, the Beinoni does not hate evil. That's the difference, except at these rare moments of Shema and Shemona Esrei. What happens when the Beinoni is inspired? As we've learned, the Yetzer Hara retreats. It vacates the left side of the heart, and the influence of the flaming fires of love spill over into the left side of the heart, take over temporarily. So at that time, he says, page 1202, the evil, the Yetzer Hara is like asleep. It's asleep during Shema and Shemona Esrei, when the love of God is flaming and glowing in the right side of the heart. But after davening, the lights dim on the stage, and the bad guys come creeping back. Page 203. Therefore, Rabba on page 1 of the Tanya, now he's explaining the questions we had on page 1. How could a person like Rabba, who's the same as the Rebbe, okay? How could the Rebbe say he's a Beinoni? Now, obviously, he would, because the Rebbe is a religious Jew. And if the sages say that that's how you should look at yourself, then that's how the Rebbe looked at himself. And the very first paragraph of the Tanya says, even if the whole world tells you that you are the greatest tzaddik in the world, in your eyes, you should be like a wicked person. How can that be? Well, if that's what it says, then that's how the Rebbe was. Because that's what our sages teach us. And the Rebbe listens. We don't all listen, but the Rebbe does. That's the difference. The Rebbe is a very religious, observant Jew. So this is how Rabbah, page 203, was like Rebbe in his time, 2,000 years ago, considered himself a Beinoni, even though he was constantly saying Torah the whole time, so that without any interruption, so that the angel of death, when his time came, he only lived 40 years. And when his time came, the angel of death could not take him, because Torah is life. The Torah is the Torah of life. And as long as the person is saying words of Torah, he can't leave the world. His whole desire and love in life was only to learn Torah, and he could not bear to separate himself from Torah for a second. With an intense yearning and longing to be connected to a Torah. That's how he's learning the whole time. Again, we're repeating terminology from chapter 7 here. Yearning for Hashem, ba'ava rabba, with a tremendous, overwhelming love. And the whole time he's learning Torah with the same intensity of commitment as he has on Yom Kippur, when we say at the end of Yom Kippur, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. The whole congregation is screaming together, Shema, which is, by the way, this week's Parsha. It's about Yom Kippur. So therefore, page 203, it was possible for Rabbah to feel in his own eyes that he was like a Beinoni, that is to say, that he was like a Beinoni who was davening the whole time. So if he would stop davening, if he would stop learning, it would be like stopping davening, and then the Yetzer Hara could come back, and then he could slip up and be tempted to do something wrong, but he wouldn't do something wrong because even a Beinoni doesn't do anything wrong. And that's how Rabbi looked on himself. Everybody told him he is a tzaddik. And we see in the next lines of the Tanya on the first page that when he says, Kagoin Ana Beinoni, look at me, I'm an example of what a Beinoni is. And his colleague Abaya lets out a Himmel Geschrei, a heaven above. How do you say such a thing? If you're a Beinoni, we're all dead. You don't leave room for anybody to live. If you're not a tzaddik, who is a tzaddik? And if there's no tzaddik, there can't be a world. So that's how a tzaddik looks upon himself. So Rabbi could consider himself to be not a Beinoni, but it says like a Beinoni. Here's the root. The crux of the matter is that little one letter chaf. I'm like, and a Beinoni should consider himself like a wicked person. Who's like a Beinoni is like a wicked person. He's not a wicked. A Beinoni is not wicked. He's never ever wicked. If he's wicked one time, Rachel, if a person is wicked one time, he's not a Beinoni anymore. He's a Rasha. The Beinoni is not a Rasha. So therefore, it doesn't say a person should consider himself wicked, but like a wicked person. Who's like a wicked person is a Beinoni, is like a wicked person in that he has the temptations, he has the thoughts, tempting thoughts, but the Beinoni never even allows his tempting thoughts to get settled in his mind. And you say, well, can a person really be like that? Can a person be like that the whole day long, always on such a high level? And then this brings us to the last line here on page 203, when the Chachamim say in Brachas, when this question is raised, the Brachas is all about davening, Talmud all about davening, and the Chachamim say, yeah. You see, what do they say there? They say that a person should daven for an hour. Before you daven, you should take an hour like we're doing now to prepare. And after davening, you should take an hour to bring it down into practical life. And you have to do this 3 times a day. That's 9 hours. So the Gemara asks an obvious question. What's going to be with Torah? If 9 hours a day you're davening, what's going to be with Torah? And the sages say, don't worry. Alavai, a person should daven. We wish a person could daven 9 hours a day. We wish we could daven 9 hours a day. And the Torah will take care of itself, because what will happen? You'll have what's called, Sharonel, success in learning. You'll have success in learning. Instead of having to spend those 9 hours working out knotty problems and on your understanding, you're going to see straight right away. You'll be inspired and you'll see the answers to all the problems immediately. Okay, this raises another question, and I'm going to stop there this week, and we're going to start again next week with the new section. Put this in here. Mark the place. And then, yeah, Monday we're going to finish this chapter and move on to the next. Sharonel. And Hannah. Hannah, is your mother still here? Yeah. You found her a nice place to stay?
My mom? We're looking for
Huh?
We're still looking for a place.
They're still looking. Okay. What are you going to do with Shabbos? Is she going to be with you in the dorm for Shabbos? Or are you going to a family?
Tomorrow we are going to the family.
They speak Russian? No, there are many families here that speak Russian. You speak Russian?
Yeah.
And Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, there's a ER has many things about it that are very significant. It starts Motzi Shabbos with Havdalah, his Reish Chodesh. We go from Shabbos right into the new month of ER. ER is an extraordinary month. It's the only month of the year where we have a different mitzvah to do every single day. And that is counting Sphira. Anybody still counting Sphira with a blessing? Forgot? Okay, we still have to count. It's a mitzvah every day. And in the month of ER, first day of ER is the birthday of my own father. Second day of ER is the birthday of the Rebbe Shmuel, the Maharash, the Chatchila Rebbe. His motto was, when most people are confronted with a problem, they think, how am I going to get around this one? And his attitude was, there's no problems. We just go straight and do what we have to do. We do what we must. He doesn't acknowledge difficulties. Now, his life was fraught with difficulties. He had severe handicaps, physical handicaps. And what was he like? Well, one time he went to, he was in business. He did business. He was very wealthy. But he just used it for Torah and mitzvahs. One time he was in a certain city, and the Belzer Rebbe was there. The Belzer Rebbe was blind. He was blind. So he came to the 770 of the Belzer Rebbe. Belz has a huge base of medrash in Yerushalayim. Tens of thousands of people can be there. They built a huge base of medrash. So he's in this huge base of medrash, and he just stands at the side. Some people came over and said, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm in business." "What are you doing here?" He says, "I'm here on business." He stands on the side. The Belzer Rebbe comes in. He's blind. They're leading him here, and he makes a right turn. He does. They say, "Rebbe, your place is up there." He walks straight over to the Rebbe Maharash, this young businessman, and he says to him, "Young man, you can't hide from me." He could smell Gan Eden. And he took him out to sit with him at the head table where he was sitting, where he was going to make his tish. They said to him, "Who is it?" They said, "Rebbe, why are you treating like that?" He said, "He told us he's a businessman." He says, "Yeah, but his business isn't your business." So his birthday is this second day. Everything in his life is like super natural. And then we're moving right along. We come to the birthday of the Rebbe's brother. No, the yard site of the Rebbe's brother on the 13th of ER, and the 14th of ER is Pesach Sheni, and the 18th of ER is Lag BaOmer. So we've got a lot of big preparing for Shavuos. We have a lot of big events coming up, and the blessing for all of them that we should do them with success is this Shabbos Mavorchim Chodesh ER, and the very month of ER stands for, after the crossing of the sea, what's the last words after the song of the sea? I am Hashem, your healer. Ani Hashem Reifecha, those are the first letters of the word. Those first letters of those words, Ani Hashem Reifecha, spells ER.
Rabbi Pape saw that.
Thank you. Read it, take it down to the office downstairs.